All right, so in order to create one of these, what I'm going to do is build this one, but I'm going to do it from scratch. This is literally just plain sat crossed over. This one's slightly more complicated, so I'm going to show you this one. So to start with, obviously I'm going to need the image. So you can either jump outside and go and take a photograph with a piece of phone or whatever it is that you're going to use, or you can grab one online and use that instead. So that's what we're going to do. So I just typed in fern in Google, and then under my tools, I went to the options here and made sure that I had it set to large so that we had big images as opposed to small ones that are going to be pixelated. Once you've done that, you'll get a whole series of images that are taken at a higher resolution. This one I thought would work quite well for what we're doing. 7,000 pixels by 4,600 and something. So that's more than enough. Clicked on view image so that I could see it bigger. There it is, right click, copy, jump into Photoshop. File, new, it will remember or it will save on the clipboard whatever it was that you copied. So it's 7,000 blah, blah, blah. Click OK and then paste it in. Done. Then we need to create a diffuse or an albedo, which is the color version of this map. And then we also need to create a alpha map. Okay, so alpha maps are very simple. Whatever is white is visible, whatever is black is invisible or is hidden. Okay, so with this fern, I'm just going to go to my magic wand, make sure I'm on the right layer, select the white, and it will select everything that is white. I'm just going to go up to here just to double kind of make sure I've got everything that's white in my scene, because sometimes if it's blocking off, it won't select certain bits. So I'm going up to select, and then I'm going to similar. So it will select everything plus anything else that's white in any little areas that I haven't managed to select.
Yep. When you do that, does it like stay on? So every time you use the wand, it would take everything as similar? Yes.
And then I can just hit delete, right? Because we don't need that information. It's still white underneath because the background layer is white. But you can see here on this layer, if I turn that one off, everything's gone clear, okay? At this point, because I've got the white area selected, I'm just going to do an invert selection. So Control, Shift, and I means I can just invert and select just the fern. I think you can do it as well up here by somewhere. Is it select? Cheers, buddy. Select and then inverse, and you can invert the selection. Okay, so then you're selecting just the fern. Then I'm going to create a new layer, and this is going to be my alpha layer. Okay, so on the alpha, I want it to be the fern, which is the visible part, needs to be white. Okay, it's pure white. Then we can do our select inverse again. So I'm selecting everything other, and that bit obviously needs to be black. Okay, so I can either click on the little arrows here or just press X. X switches your foreground and background colors, by the way. And then I can just paste the rest of it in. That's not quite black, in black. Okay, if it's not quite black, if it's sort of gray, then you're going to get a slightly see-through-ness on your texture. Okay, so there's my albedo, sorry, my alpha. And then for the albedo, I'm going to hide that layer. So on this one, I'm just going to select part of the green on the edges and then paste that green along the rest. Now, the reason we do that is just in case our alpha is maybe a pixel too short or a pixel too big. If the background color to our leaf was anything other than green, then you get that slight outline all the way around the asset of whatever the background color is. So to save us from having to deal with that hassle, we're just going to paint it all green like that. Cool. Done. So we can save these two off as separate textures now. Don't want to confuse you, but I will tell you that in Unity, alpha maps don't work like this. You have to put this one, the alpha goes into the channels of one of your other maps. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's do it the simple way, okay? And for this module as well, the warding structure of it, you don't have to render anything in a game engine. You have to do it in the software that we're using already. So forget what I just said, basically. Right, so let's save this one out. Foliage. Okay, get used to using the correct name. So albedo. I almost wrote diffuse. That was the old way of saving colors. Save. Okay, and then show me this one. Save as alpha. JPEG. Okay, done. Cool. That's it. Now we jump into Max. I'm just going to hide this. I'll delete this so we're not messing around with light and shadow changing. Okay, just going to move to a different part of the scene. I'm going to look at it from a T for top view. I'm going to create my plane, which will be the one leaf. Okay, so done. Then I want to just add in some segments into this because I want it to kind of bend as a leaf would. So under my modify tab, length and width segments, I'm going to change those a little bit. So width, I only really want 1, and then length, I'm going to add, say 5. 5 should be enough. It's a relatively low poly one, okay? Cool. Right click, convert it to an editable poly. Then we can select these edges and sort of bend them down so it's a bit more curvy in terms of the plant. So maybe just select the middle ones and bring those up slightly. Again, looking at it from the top. Now I'm going to use my unwrap UVW. And before I do that, I'm going to throw the texture on, okay, the one that we've just created, the color version. So M on the keyboard. Here's my other textures for the other parts. So I'm going standard, drop it in, and then under diffuse, general, bitmap, and then go and get your color version that you've saved off. Cool. Apply that to the mesh. Close. Okay, and now we need to place it in the right place. So with our unwrap selected, got polygon on, select that whole top section. You can only select the top because it's the only place there is. Drop into the editor, and then scroll down and click on planar. It's a flat piece of texture, so we'll just use quick planar. Done. Under your drop down here, select your albedo. There it is. And then we just need to manipulate this so that it fits within our picture that's on there. Okay, so let's make it bigger. You can see what we're doing all the time here as well. It's useful. Try to make sure you keep it all in and that you're not chopping off any leaves. Okay. I'm not too worried about these sticking out over here at the moment because there's nothing else for them to be mapped to at the minute, so it's not important. If you're doing this, let's say you want 3 or 4 different types of leaves and branches coming out, and you know how you big guys have been doing texture atlases last week, so you could have a series of different types of plant and then just map them to them, right? Try not to have them going diagonally as well. I don't know why I didn't change this to vertical, but it doesn't matter. We've mapped it together anyway. Cool. Okay, so with that done, we can turn off unwrap. go back into our editor, material editor, and then here we've got an option for opacity, and this is where we're going to bring in the alpha map. Okay, so click again to the left, general, bitmap, and get the alpha version. Okay, as soon as you've done that, we should see the leaf appearing as if it's by itself. Okay, then it's just a case of using some of the tools that you've already used before. So we can jump in and use the bend modifier, give it a certain amount of bend in the right direction. So this would be 90. Just bend it that way. And then I'm going to move my gizmo so that it's over at the start. Sorry, not the gizmo, the center. So it's at the beginning of the leaf. Then I can bend that back up. So I need to move my pivot. Effect pivot only. Push it back to the beginning. Make sure it's roughly in the right place. Okay. There's our first leaf.
You copy and paste that?
Can indeed. So now make sure you've got your rotation snap turned on, and we can go to 45 degrees. Tell it to do that another 6 times. Should have been 7. We created that and select all of them. Holding down Shift, I can make a copy. Okay, make those ones a little bit smaller. Rotate those slightly so they're in the middles. Then you can go individually and just jump back to your bend and either undo or redo a few so that they're not all looking exactly the same. Right? Okay. And lo and behold, you've made a nice little piece of foliage to drop into your world. Huh? Oh, does it? Okay. And that's it. That's how they do it. That's how simple it is. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is a minimum of, I think the piece asks for 3, for you to do 3 foliage pieces within your world that you create. So knock them out of the park, get them done today if you can, and then we can tick that off. I won't take hours away from you either if you can get it done today. So just go for it. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Anyone stuck on anything that I didn't do right there? The what? The rock. Yeah. The rock is. Yes. There it is.
Did you make that?
No. It's from Quixel. On the rock?
Yeah, so like, if you want to have like this,
hold on, let me just stop this.